Hello everyone, welcome to the Sweet Source Canada YouTube channel. My name is Tristan and today we're going to be changing out the mass airflow sensor on our 2000 SAAB 93 Viggen. We're just doing this to test out a used mass airflow sensor we have to make sure it's good and working. We'll run the car for a few days, but we're not actually changing this unit out. It's actually a good unit, but we're going to test out a used unit we do have in our stock to make sure it does work so we can go ahead and sell it to someone who may need it. So we're going to dive right into this right after the intro. So our first step to this replacement is going to be removing the two 7mm hose clamps that are here, and that's to remove this intake, this fresh air tube. These should not be on super tight, but of course with age and corrosion, these might be on there and be a little bit stubborn. As you can see here, these ones are not in the best of condition, but they're coming out pretty smoothly, making some nice noises as they're coming out, of course. Once you see these are loose and you're able to kind of move them around, this fresh air hose can come out. That's out very simply. It looks like this whole airbox wants to come out. The mounts here are probably pretty broken, so we'll have to fix them another day. Anyways, once we're here, we're gonna go ahead and remove these two screws here and get the actual bracket off so we can slide the mass airflow sensor out. These screws here are T25s. So go ahead and carefully loosen these. They screw into plastic, so they should not be seized whatsoever. The bracket is metal, but they are screwed into plastic, into the actual airbox. That screw's a little bit questionable, but luckily it got out. Just the head on it wasn't very convincing, but you're able to get it out. If you do encounter this, just make sure you can either clean this up and try to get your socket in there, or you just go in very carefully. When you feel a grip, just carefully loosen it, and you're able to get it out without stripping it. These should be replaced. I probably do have some spares lying around, but I'm going to leave it as is for now, since this the sensor I'm installing is only going in for a few days just to get a good test run, make sure it works properly. Once that is done, this bracket can be removed. Just take care of the orientation. The SAAB writing is going to be on the upper portion right here. So once that's done, you should be able to slide this out of the airbox, like so. And then you could take out the connector. Just like so. So the connector, the way it works, is it just locks in. If you don't have a screwdriver on hand to put in here, you can just push in the tabs from here and then slide it out all the way once you get a good grip on the top. Once that is done, the old one is out. We can go ahead and transfer this seal onto the used one we're testing out. Now I've gone in and liberally applied some silicone grease on this seal. You want to make sure that the orientation of the seal is towards the airbox like this, so it slides in and creates a good seal. And you want to keep in mind also the flow arrows that are on the body and on this sticker. You want it to come out of the airbox. So I'm going to just dust this away. Should have brought a rag with me, but I didn't, but it's okay. It's only a temporary install. Of course, if you were to do this on your own car, more permanent install, make sure you keep everything very clean. But here, of course, it's only temporary, just to test out this sensor. So go ahead and plug it in, just like so. The clip goes in really easily, and then we're going to go ahead and install the sensor itself. Just make sure the seal does its job and gets in there, just like so. There is also a tab right here. As you can see, I'll pull it out again a bit. So that's a tab here. You want to make sure that goes right into the airbox where it's supposed to, and that's going to kind of lock it in place. Once that's done, you could also go ahead and apply some silicone grease here, which I'll do. Alright, I've gone ahead and put on some silicone grease on the hose as well. We're going to put that to the side. We're going to install this bracket first. So once again, the SAAB logo and part number are up here. Go ahead and install that. And take your screws, start them by hand, then thread these in the rest of the way. Don't forget, these do thread into plastic, so no need to tighten these down a lot. As you can see, as soon as it starts to get tight, a little crank, and that's all you need. That's very strong and solid in there. So once that's done, you're going to go ahead and install your air hose. Always make sure to align this notch where it goes right here, and there's a notch right here on the pipe that goes down to the turbo. So make sure you align that all. Another note I want to make too is just make sure the hex are accessible. So those are going to be easy to remove in the future. So you can start with the big end or the small end. I'll start here with the small end. And then you can just bend the pipe, get it where it belongs. Make sure that groove aligns, which here it is. Probably could see it here, where the rubber is cut, that groove aligns. And then here, you want to align it with the groove that is on the King Cobra pipe, as they call it, just like this. And once that's done, go ahead and grab your 7mm socket and tighten these down. You can hold the clamp on the side like this, just to make sure it stays in the position. Once it's tight enough, you can let go of it, and that'll be done. Just tighten this clamp down. No need to go crazy. Just enough to give it a seal and that it won't go anywhere. Then the same with this one. If you do feel it binding like this, you could apply some grease. So I will do that shortly. So as you can see, my clamp is binding and it's quite rusted. So I'm just going to put a little bit of grease. This is silicone grease. Probably not the most ideal grease to use for this application, but it's what I have on hand right now. So it's better than nothing. And when you start tightening that, it'll kind of spread the grease on the clamp and it'll make it work better. It's a little bit better, but I think that grease needs to spread a bit better. So once that's on, there's no programming required. This is a plug and play install. Nothing really complicated about it. Once that clamp is on, this is on here, everything's hooked up, you're good to go and enjoy your drive. Alright everyone, well that's pretty much it when it comes to installing one of these mass airflow sensors, or MAF sensors people call them as well. Your symptoms for this kind of thing will be probably rough running, poor fuel economy, stuff like that, but mainly you will get a check engine light for this. So that's why we're installing this used unit here, just to test it out to make sure it works before we go ahead and find it a new home, sell it to another SAABer who's in need of a MAF for their car. So this pretty much applies to all Tronic 7 SAAB 93 and 95 models. So if it was helpful, I really do appreciate a like and a subscribe. And if you guys have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to leave it down below in the comments. Anyways everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great one. Goodbye.